welcome to a new video. In this video I'm going to be showing you all of the different pieces that go together to make my live action white outfit Ahsoka cosplay. And I will be talking about some of the details and how I made them and everything. The pieces that I do have videos for already, I'm not going to be going into as much detail because there is already an entire video for them. And I am also not going to be talking about the lightsabers in this video, and the reason for that is because I have a couple different sets of lightsabers that I use for all of my Ahsoka cosplays, and I just pick whichever ones I need for whatever event I'm doing. So if you want a video about my lightsaber hilts, please let me know in the comments down below. So let's get started. Alright, so let's start at the bottom. So here are my shoes for my Ahsoka cosplay. They do have a little mud on them from my photo shoot because it was a little muddy, but they are just white volleyball shoes that I was able to find on Poshmark, and they work very, very well. I was very happy to be able to find these and also find them for a really good price. If you don't know, these shoes that Rosario wears in the actual show are Adidas wrestling shoes, and they are quite pricey. And also they are only in men's sizes, so for someone like me, they did not even have my size available, and I also did not even want to pay that much money in the first place. So I was able to actually find quite a few different pairs of volleyball shoes that would work perfectly fine, and these are the ones that I ended up getting. So next is the shoe armor. So here is my shoe armor. It is just made from 2 layers of 2mm craft foam with a layer of Warbler for some support. And then it does have this cream piping around the edges, and it is all just hot glued together. So I made these the exact same way that I made my bracers, which I do have a video for. And then here is the little like lace covering, I guess, the shoelace covering, which is just a cream double brush knit fabric. And then I have a little piece of ribbon with a snap button, and that just loops around the laces on the shoe to hold it all on. And it works pretty well. And then that shoe cover is just sewn to the bottom of the pants because it does tuck under, and I didn't want to have to deal with trying to do any type of closure or attachment there, so I just sewed it onto the bottom. And then here are the pants. So this fabric is actually some curtain fabric that I found at Walmart. I had originally planned to get custom printed fabric from Spoonflower, and I did draw up several different patterns, different colors and everything, different shades of gray, and had several swatches printed, but I decided that in the end I did not like how flat this fabric was, because it is just printed cotton, so there's no texture to it. And I decided that I would rather have the texture over an accurate pattern on the fabric. So I had found this at Walmart and it worked perfectly well. So I made these the exact same way that I made my Mandalorian versions, and I do have a video for those. There are a few minor differences, one being that she does have the same material on the back of the leg and then a white material on the front. So this white material is a double brush knit fabric, so it does have some stretch to it, which is very nice for keeping it fitted around my leg because this fabric doesn't have any stretch to it. And then I do have an invisible zipper and a hook and eye at the back of these pants. So unlike my Mandalorian ones, which have an elastic waistband, these ones have a zipper and hook and eye for the closure. So there those are. I'm very happy with how these came out. My only complaint with them is I made the top part of them a little too short, so whenever I am bending my legs or anything, I do have to be careful because the top part is a hint too short for me to fully bend or fully crouch or squat or anything. I can do it, I just have to be careful. Alright, so next are the shin guards. So here they are. So these ones are 3 layers of 2mm craft foam. I don't have that Warbler support on the inside. And again, I'm not too worried about these degrading or getting damaged over time, just because there's almost no friction or movement on them. So I do have this 3rd layer on the inside to give it this curved shape. And made all of my armor pieces the exact same way. Really, the only difference between them is if they have a Warbler layer on the inside or a 3rd layer of 2mm craft foam. And then whatever their various attachment methods are. So for the shin guards, they just have a strap that goes around the back of my leg and then Velcros. And then this is just some gray grosgrain ribbon. And the white is actually a layer of cotton and then a layer of the white double brush knit. So the Velcro is just hot glued to the inside of the armor, and then this side of the strap is just hot glued down. Again, it has that cream piping like the shoe armor, and then that gray ribbon does cross on both the top and bottom of the armor. So really happy with how these came out. My only complaint is I did make the straps just a smidge too small. So whenever I fully flex my calf, the top strap sometimes will come on Velcro just because it's just a hint too small. But there they are. Alright, so next is the belt. This I do have a video on how I made it, so I'm not going to be talking too in-depth about it, but here it is. So got some quilting going on there, some hand stitched pleats, top stitched cording. The lightsaber buckles are 3D prints that I modeled and printed myself. The outside buckle is a 3D print that I modeled and printed myself. The inside is Warbler and craft foam, and then just a whole bunch of layers of fabric all sewn together, riveted together, and then it just ties in the back, and it's got a little keeper to hide the gap between the 2 edges of the belt. So really happy with how this came out. I did make the keeper part of it a smidge too short. I should have made it like at least a ½ inch longer, but it's good enough. I just have to pull the belt a little bit tighter than I would like to, but it's not like it doesn't fit or anything. It does fit. Alright, so next is the shirt. So I do have a video on the front and the sides of the shirt, but not the back of it. So here is the front. I did hand sew down all of these pleats. These ones are pin tucks and some piping that I made, some bias tape I made. There it is. Got some princess seams to help it fit better. And then I do have a stretch panel in the back to help hold it all on and make things a little bit more comfortable to wear, and that closes with a separating zipper. And then the back panel, here it is. So it's all the same dark gray fabric with pin tucks and the light gray piping. These pin tucks were a little tricky to do because they do curve and have that point. So the way I did that is the top piece, I actually did 3 separate seams. So I sewed this inner curved one first, and then sewed the outer edges. And then on the sides, it was just 2 seams. So the curve and then the straight part. And then this just hooks to the side piece with 2 hook and bars. And then here is the collar. It is just 2 layers of cotton. The top layer is has been pleated down, and then all stitched together. So the collar is completely stitched down on this side, And then half of this side, as you can see, it is not stitched down right here. And that is so I'm able to get in and out of it. So because of the elastic panel, I do just slide it over my head and then zip up the back, hook the back panel, and then I have 2 hook and eyes on the back of the collar because her collar does actually have an opening in the back. It's really hard to see, but I did find an image where you can see that there is an opening on the back of her collar. And then this shoulder seam closes with 3 hook and eyes. So I'm really happy with how this came out. It fits very, very nicely. Really the only issue I have is with these hook and eyes, just because this fabric is the weave of it's so loose. I do have a little trouble getting it closed myself. It's definitely easier with someone else helping me, but I am able to close it myself. And then this side is just top stitched together. So there it is. I am really, really happy with how this came out. Really the only issue I have with it is that it is about an inch or two too short. I do actually have to pin the back to the pants so that the back doesn't pop out if I bend over or anything, because the belt is not enough to keep the shirt tucked in and it is too short. So I just haven't gotten around to putting any type of extension on there, and I just pin it to the pants and it's perfectly fine. Alright. So here are my sleeves. I do have an entire video on making these. So they're just cotton strips and that cream double brushed fabric, and I'm really happy with how these came out. The top half was definitely a challenge with trying to figure out the placement of all of these, but I figured it out and really happy with how they came out. The only issue I have with these is the wrist is just a little bit too small. It's not small enough that I can't get these on, but it is small enough that I do have to be a little bit careful so I don't pop a stitch or something. Alright, next are the gloves. So here are my gloves and the hand plates, and that's because I just leave the hand plates velcroed to the gloves so they stay together and I don't lose them, because they are the smallest pieces of this outfit. And I find that if I don't leave the hand plates attached to the gloves, I am very likely to misplace them for a little bit. So my gloves are just white faux leather gloves that I got on Amazon and cut the fingers off. And then I painted the detailing with some cream Angelus paint. So like her Mandalorian ones, she does have this detailing on the inside, on the inside of the hand right here. But unlike her Mandalorian ones, where it is brown with black, with the detailing being darker, these ones are cream with white, with that detailing being lighter. So I didn't want to have to deal with trying to stitch these or make my own gloves, because I hate making gloves. So I just painted it, and I am really happy with how these came out. They're pretty comfortable. And then the hand plate just attaches with some Velcro that I stitched to the top. So here is the hand plate. It is made the same way as the shoe plates, or the shoe armor, which is 2 layers of 2mm craft foam, a layer of Warpla, and then the cream piping, and then just Velcro hot glue to the inside. So these were actually the first armor pieces I made because they were the smallest, so if something ended up not working out, it wasn't as big of a deal if I had to remake these just because they were so small. And then the knuckles here do actually have a little bit of hot glue underneath them to give them that raised detailing to them. So they do actually have like hot glue supporting that like dome. Alright, here are the bracers. I do have a full video on these, so not going to talk too much about them. Other than I'm really happy with how they came out. My only complaints with them is sometimes, my only complaint with these really is that these back ribbon details I should have. So here are my bracers. Don't really have too many complaints about them. I do have a full video, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. I do want to one day remake these with actual lights in them, but for now, this is just painted craft foam and it works perfectly fine. Alright, so here is my headband. It is a layer of 2mm craft foam on Worbla, and then down here is a layer of faux leather on the Worbla. So all of the detailing for this, I scored the foam and then heated it up to open up those cuts. And that's really it. There's not a whole lot to this. It does have elastic in the back to hold it down. I do have to tighten this elastic because it is a little bit loose, so it doesn't really do a whole lot because it's so loose. But there it is. I am very happy with how this came out. It is really comfortable to wear because these ear pucks kind of curve over the ears, so I don't have any pressure on my ears. And then it just attaches to my headpiece with some magnets. So I do have 4 magnets in there. I do have 4 sets of magnets in there. And then the actual headpiece, or the actual headband itself, is just all held together with some Worbla. Alright, so next let's talk about the cloak. So here is the cloak. I had found this textured fabric that I really liked. And it's pretty much just a gigantic like diamond shape with a slit cut down one of the long sides to the neck hole, and then obviously the neck hole is cut out of the diamond. And then the hood has a rectangular panel going down the center of it, so there's no center seam. And then the sides are just traditional hood patterns, and it's been pleated down into the neckline. And then the placket, which just has some thick cording for the X's, and then it closes with three snap buttons, which I do need to replace. I want to replace them with bigger snap buttons, but at the time of making this, because I was making it for a photo shoot, so I was a little bit time constrained, these were all I had, and they worked fine, but the top one wasn't quite strong enough at some points just because the neckline of this is very fitted. I don't have a whole lot of wiggle room with the neckline of it, so the top one did have a tendency to come unbuttoned a little bit. But other than that, I am very happy with how this came out, and I'm really happy with how it looks. I do still need to go in and like fully fray the edges, but for right now they're just unfinished because I do still have to fray them. And finally, my headpiece. So here is my headpiece. It is made from silicone, so it is super flexible. It's pretty lightweight and very comfortable to wear. It does have some issues to it because I had to make a new form for this specific. So it does have some issues to it because I had to make a new form for this specific headpiece, and it has a slightly different design than her Mandalorian one. But overall, I am very happy with how it came out, and it sits on my head very nicely because of how curved the top of it is. I don't have any issues with it sliding off or anything. I do have some issues with the headband and how the headband and the headpiece sit together, because the headband sits on top here and then tucks underneath back here, so there is a little bit of weirdness going on around the ears just because of how the headband and headpiece interact, but nothing terrible. But I did make this the same way I have made all of my other silicone headpieces. And that is all of the pieces of my white outfit live action Ahsoka Tano cosplay, again except for the lightsabers. So I hope you found this helpful or enjoyable in any way. Please like and subscribe if you did. Leave any comments or questions you have down below. And I will also link all of my making of and I will also link all of my other videos that are relevant to this cosplay down below in the description box. So with that, so thank you for watching. I try to upload videos the first Thursday of every month, and I will see you next time. Bye!